Handing a website off to clients with the default WordPress is a little bit underwhelming and a little bit overpowering for people that don't really know what they're doing. So any way we can make it better is ultimately a good thing. That's exactly what we're going to do. So let's take a look at what we're starting off with, and then we're going to see what we're going to end up with, and I'll show you how you can start to recreate this for yourself. So when you go to log into WordPress, you or your client or anybody, this is the typical login screen. You'll pop in your username, email address, password, and then that'll log you into the dashboard itself. If this is your first time on the dashboard, well, this can be considerably overwhelming for most people if you're not used to working with WordPress. And we're going to make sure that this looks a lot better. So this is what we have, and well, it doesn't look the greatest. But without too much effort, we can actually change the whole login and dashboard experience for our users. This is a simple, customized dashboard login. And as you can see, it already looks much better. It's branded, it's more welcoming, and it just looks a lot cooler. And then once the user logs in, this is what they'll get. They'll get welcomed. They'll have a little bit of a section underneath for their quick action. So if they want to create new posts, view posts, upload media and so on, the normal things you'd want to do. And you can expand this and do whatever you want with this. You can see we can simply come over any of these, click and go in and take a look at that particular function. If they're new to working with WordPress itself, well, we've got complete easy how-tos, which you can click to open up. And as you can see, there's a step-by-step. And again, you can create as complex or simple as you want, add images. Everything you can do as part of a normal WordPress page can be done using the tools I'm going to show you. And at the bottom, we've got a simple contact form. So if they've got any problems that they want to get in touch with you, well, they can use this form and do it immediately. Very simple and straightforward. Now, the most important takeaway from this entire video is this is an example. Whatever your imagination can open up, you can probably do most of that, if not all of it, using the tools and techniques I'm going to show you. And that's the most important thing. Use your imagination, create something amazing. Now, to achieve this example, we're going to be using two different tools. Now, there are alternative ways in which you can do it, and stick around to the end of the video because I'll give you a couple of alternatives if you want to use or if you are already using different tools. But we're going to be using Ultimate Dashboard Pro. This is a paid plugin, but it's worth every penny if you want to create these kinds of dashboards for yourself or for your clients to give a better user experience. We're also going to be using Bricks Builder. Now, you could just as easily use Elementor or Elementor Pro if you were wanting to work with the same kind of setup, but you don't want to use Bricks. And one of the alternatives I'll show you at the end allows you to very easily use the native Gutenberg functions if you want to go down that route. So there should be options available for pretty much everybody, no matter what you want to do. So I've reset the Ultimate Dashboard Pro settings, so we're kind of starting off on pretty much a clean slate. Now you can see we've got a bit of a weird kind of quirk going on here, but that's because, well, I've just uninstalled bits and pieces. So ignore this. You'd see the normal standard WordPress dashboard. So the easiest way to get rid of all of this is to come over into the Ultimate Dashboard, come down to Settings, and inside there, you can see we've got the WordPress dashboard widgets. We can remove all of them. So let's just check that option. That'll remove everything from there. If you want to change icon and text colors and so on to customize the kind of left bar, you can do that. And also the welcome screen, you can show or disable or create your own custom one here if you want to keep it really simple. Let's go so much further. Let's save our changes. Take a look at our dashboard, and now we have just these annoying boxes listed here. And we've also got the screen options and the help and so on at the top. We want to get rid of all of these distractions. So let's come back into Ultimate Dashboard, back into our settings. And from there, we're going to come over into the option for General, and we can remove the Help tab, remove the screen options. You can also remove the admin bar from the front end, which is this bar you can see at the top with new and so on. If you want to remove that, you can do it. Save our changes, come back out to our dashboard, and you can see things do look a little cleaner. We've got rid of those little pop-up options in the corner, but we haven't got rid of these boxes. So we need to get rid of those. Now, you can't do this inside Ultimate Dashboard Pro, unfortunately. So I'm going to use a little code snippet. I'll make this available. There'll be a link and information in the description below, so you can use this exact code snippet. Just copy and paste it. Now, I'm going to be using the Code Snippets plugin, the free plugin. But if you don't want to use this, all you need to do is make sure that you're using a child theme with whatever theme you've chosen for your website, or in Bricks Builder, for example. And then you're going to make sure that you insert into the functions PHP file this same little bit of code. So up to you which way you want to go. If you want to keep things clean and simple, don't use the plugin. So we're going to go into our snippets, and you can see there's my dashboard cleanup. If I open this up, This is all it's doing, is effectively creating a simple function and using a CSS display to hide those boxes. That's all it is. It's the easiest way to do it is a function. So I've set this to run only in the admin area, and we're going to click on Save and Activate. And now if you go back to our dashboard, we've got rid of those little boxes. So we've cleaned the dashboard up. We've got a clean slate to work with. So the next thing we need to do is start to create the actual layout that we want. Now we're going to use Bricks Builder for this, but like I say, you can use Elementor, and with some of the other options, if you want to use Gutenberg, you can do that as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into Bricks and into Templates. And for the templates, we're going to create a new template. Now I'm going to show you from scratch how you can build this. Let's add a new template. We're going to give this a name. We'll come over to the select template type, and we're going to set this to be a section. We'll hit publish, and we'll edit with bricks. So now we have effectively a blank slate to work with. You can ignore the header and footer. We're not going to be seeing those as part of our dashboard anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to start building things up from here. Now to make life easy, we can use a template library like the Renmo library, which is totally free. You don't have to, but for this tutorial, I'm going to use it because it speeds up my process of setting things up and demonstrating. So first of all, let's come over to our components. We're going to choose a header section. And from here, we're going to choose a header. We'll grab this one by here. We'll preview it, and we'll simply go and copy that component, pop back over, and we're going to click Command or Control and V to paste that in, and we now have our custom hero section or header section placed inside here. Let's rename it, and let's get rid of the things we don't want. We don't want the buttons, so we'll delete those from there, and you can see now we've got our basic hero or header section set up. So let's use some of the dynamic data that we have access to as part of our normal WordPress setup using bricks. So let's replace this text from here. We'll just remove all that from there. And we're going to say, hey, and we want to put the actual logged in user's name. Let's use the little dynamic data icon, scroll through until we find the option for our actual user. And you see there's our user profile. And now we can reference pretty much any of the data we want from here. So for this example, we're going to be using, we can use the user nice name, nickname, whatever you want. Let's just choose the display name for this example. And you can see now that drops in a little bit of short code, and we can type in whatever we want afterwards. Pretty cool, hey? So let's change that, and we can set it to H1 if we want to, whatever we want. Now we've done that, we're going to drop in a new image at the top. We want to put the image for the actual user itself. So we'll just click to add that image, reposition it where we want, select it, come out to our dynamic data. Again, we're going to scroll through to find the user. We'll choose the user picture. You can see that shows my image. We're going to change the size of this to something like the thumbnail image. Now, nothing shows up inside here, which is a little bit of a shame, but it's not the end of the world. Let's change the HTML tag over for a little bit of good semantics. We'll set that to be picture. And now what you can do is you can change any options you want, like aspect ratio, object fit, and so on. You can apply an overlay. You can set a link. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to link this to the actual user profile page. So we're going to choose the option for a other URL, select the link type, we'll say external in this case because we can't use the internal because we're going to an admin page and we can't access those. So we'll choose external URL. That allows us then to put in the URL that we want. So I've already got another tab open, and all we're going to do is we're going to come over the user section, come over profile, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose the option to copy link address. That's going to copy the link address to that particular page inside the dashboard of WordPress. Come back over, drop that URL inside there. And what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of everything before the / and WP-admin. This means then if we want to use this on another site, we don't have to worry about those URLs being incorrect. So we've set everything up on there. If you want to change things like attribute titles, all those kinds of things, you can do that. I'm going to come over to style for this example now. We're going to come into our border. We're going to set a simple border. We'll link all sides together and we'll say 3 solid and set that to be white or close to white. I'm going to set our border radius on all sides and we're going to set this to 99. That's going to kind of make it a nice round sort of object. Okay, so now we've done that, let's save this. And we've created the first part of our overall template. Now let me quickly tell you about today's video sponsor, Independent Analytics. Independent Analytics is simplifying analytics for WordPress users. It's user-friendly and 100% GDPR compliant. It's my go-to plugin that provides clear insights into website traffic and popular content with a manageable statistics overview. It offers critical information in a visually appealing, intuitive dashboard for free. If you need more features such as real-time analytics, campaign link tracking, WooCommerce analytics, or email reports, you may want to consider upgrading to the Pro version. Now, if you're ready to elevate your analytics experience, visit independentwp.com to download the plugin and explore more for yourself. So let's continue on now to the next section, which is going to be those quick actions. So again, let's just use the option to make life a little bit quicker and easier. For this, we're going to use the logo sections. We'll grab this logo one, we'll preview it, copy the component, head back over, and we're just going to do that Control or Command V to paste it underneath, and we'll just change this to quick action section. Okay, so we now have a bunch of image placeholders in there, which we don't need. So let's delete all those. The block is fine. You can see we've already got things set up. And if we take a look at the block and come over to the content, you can see inside here, this is set up to use a grid, and we've got 6 available containers to kind of work with. And that's perfectly fine. You know, we can customize and tweak this however we want. If you don't want to use a grid, use something else. What we're going to do though, is we're going to set the basics up inside here, and then we're going to go and just basically duplicate it. So for this, check in a block, we're going to come back over, add a new element in, and we're going to simply add in a basic block inside there, or a div. It's entirely up to you which you want to work with. For this example, actually, let's use a div. Now we're going to use just one div at the point in time because we'll duplicate that and then it makes life quicker and easier. So let's come back over, let's choose an icon. We'll add an icon in from here. You can see that adds it in. And we're also going to go and add in just a heading. Set that to be something like H4, so it's a little smaller. And obviously we can style this however we want, so let's just make it a little bit smaller. We'll set it to something like 1.6 rams, and we'll just make it a little heavier, just stands out a bit. And then we can just change this to what we want. So we'll just say view posts. Simple as that. Okay, so now with that being selected, let's go back to our div, go to our styles, and set this to be center aligned. There we go. And we're just going to apply a little bit of styling or padding and so on around this. So we'll come to our layout. Now you could easily use classes to do this and make life easy. So we'll do that. So we'll just come up, we'll add a new class in. Now obviously you could use different naming conventions like BEM naming conventions and so on. I just want to keep this really simple and quick. Hit enter, and we've now created that global class. You can see it's selected by the fact it's highlighted in yellow, and now whatever we do will be applied to that class, and we can apply that class then to any other div that we want to use this class on. So for example, let's link all these sides together, and then we're going to set this to be something like 3 rem. You can see that puts the spacing all around it. We'll come out of there and we'll come down to our background. We'll set a background color. We'll choose this light gray and adjust the opacity to about 50%. Come down to our border. We'll apply a border on all sides. Set that to 1, and we'll have this set to solid. We'll choose that same light gray color, and again, you might want to tweak this a little bit. We're going to come down to our radius, and we're going to set those to be something like 8. And now we've created our first kind of layout. Okay, so now we've done that, we can just simply go and change this over now. So let's come over to our pseudo classes because we want to change this a little bit when we go over the hover state. So select that. Again, we've still got our global class selected. So we're going to come over to the hover state. And now what we're going to do is we're going to change our background and make that just a little darker. So we'll select this light gray and just change that to about 75%. We'll leave the border as it is. That's perfectly fine. And then we're going to come back out of the hover state and we'll just hit the save option. So we've now created our first icon box, and this is now going to be linked up to the relevant different functions. So what we need to do is just minimize the layout there, and we're going to just come to this and we're going to duplicate this, and we'll duplicate it 6 times. Okay, so now what we can do is we can easily come in and change the icons for these. Now you may find the icons don't show up correctly inside the dashboard. Well, we can just deal with that by simply using our own uploaded icon. So I'll show you the first one. I'm not going to show you all the rest. It's the same process. Let's come over to the content. Let's come to our icon and select it. We're going to close that from there, and we're going to choose SVG because we've already uploaded one. We'll select our files, and you can see there's our files. We'll select this first one and insert it, and we now have our icon inserted. So the final thing we need to do to this is set where we want it to go when we click on it. So we want it to view all the posts. So let's select the div. And we want to make sure the div is selected so it doesn't matter where they click inside it or where they select over it, the entire thing is going to be clickable. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down to the options for the HTML tag, and we're going to set this to be a link. Once you do that, you can see we can choose the link type and how we want to display it and so on. So we'll choose the link type, and again, like we saw, we'll choose external URL. We can drop in the URL we want there. So we're going to come back over to our dashboard. Always makes life easy to have 2 tabs open. come over to our posts and all posts, and again, right click, choose copy link address, jump back over, paste in that, and then just strip off everything before the /WP admin. Okay, so now we've set the second set of options up. We just repeat the process now for whatever you want to place inside here, copy in the link that you need from the relevant part of the WordPress dashboard. It is really simple. So next up, we want to put our help section in. So again, we're going to just jump back over into the Renmo library, and we're going to come to the FAQ sections. We can now choose whatever FAQ layout we like the look of. Let's grab this one, we'll preview it, and we'll say, yep, that looks pretty good. We'll copy that component, head back over, and we'll just do that Control-Command-V, rename this to help section. We'll change the title on there to help, and now we can just customize this overall look of the accordion. Now, this is where gets really useful. Let me just save this before we go any further. Jump back into our second tab, and you'll notice I've got advanced custom fields installed. I've also got a custom post type created inside here called help and tutorials. And inside there, if we open this up, there's nothing else going on. It is simply just the standard WordPress post type, but under a custom post type. So you've got the title, the editor, and the excerpt. We don't need an image in this example because it's just FAQ. And then I've got a new section up inside here, and you can see if we go to all the help and tutorials, I've created a bunch of tutorials, and inside there, each one of these is just using the native Gutenberg functions. There's nothing from bricks or anything else being used inside here. So we're keeping it really, really simple. Now the nice thing with this is we can use the Ultimate Dashboard Pro afterwards for any of our logged in users, any user level, and we can hide all these options. They won't even see these options in the dashboard at all. So we can use that wherever we want and disable it where we don't need it. So with that being said, how the heck do we get this to display? Well, let's go to our accordion, and you can see by default we've got all of these placeholders, so they're manually being created. Let's get rid of them. Now we're going to leave the first one inside here because this has kind of become a template. So we'll select that first accordion and open it up, and we're going to remove the title text. We'll use the dynamic data icon, and we're going to choose post title. We're going to come down now to the content. We're going to delete the content that's in there, and it's important to make sure you delete that. Otherwise, you'll end up with duplicate content. We'll select our dynamic data, come to post, and we're going to choose the post content. Now, you're going to see nothing is going to populate inside you because it doesn't know where to grab that data from or what to do with it. So let's minimize that, and you'll see underneath it says use query loop. Pretty cool. Let's just choose the option for query loop, and then let's open the query loop up. We'll select posts. Our post type, we're going to choose the help and tutorials, which is our custom post type we created. If you want to set an order, you can set an order inside here. It's entirely up to you. And again, offsets and all those kinds of things. All the things you're used to are available here for you. We're also going to choose the option to not expand the first one, and we'll set a transition, let's say 300 milliseconds. So now what you can do is you can easily come into your titles and your margins and your content and everything and customize the look and feel of this to whatever you want to fit into your custom dashboard. But we now have all that dynamic data being pulled in. So let's save this, and we've now got our second piece of content created. The final thing we're going to add in our example is the dashboard section for the contact form. And let's just use the contact form. We'll choose this one. Doesn't really matter which one we're going to choose. We'll preview this. And we'll simply copy that component, head back over, and we'll do our Control-Command-V, rename, set that to contact section, and now what we can do is we can just come in and customize this. Now I'm not going to show you how to set the form up because all you're going to do is set this up to be emailed through to your email address for your support section. But let's just say we want to change the image from here. Well, we can just delete that. We'll select our image. We'll use this one of this very happy customer support individual. There we go. And we can just easily come in and just customize the look of this should we want to. So now we've got everything set up. Let's save this, and that's basically our custom home page for our dashboard all set up. But if we go back to our dashboard and go back to our home section, there's still nothing showing up. So how do we get it to show up? We're going to come into the Ultimate Dashboard options, and we're going to come into settings. And from there, you can see we've got this page builder dashboard. If we open that up, you can see there's all our user roles. And if you have additional user roles, they'll be shown inside here as well. And this is the beauty of this. You can create different templates for different user roles. So for example, we can set this up to be all, and you can see there's all our bricks templates. There's our custom dashboard that we just created, but you may only want that to apply to a editor. Well, you can just set it up for the editor. And the same thing goes for your author, subscriber, and so on. So you can create totally custom ones for whatever user level logs in. We're going to set the same one for everybody though. Set the custom dashboard, hit save our changes, and now if we come back to our dashboard, And there's our custom dashboard. There's our welcome message with my name being inserted inside there. You can see there's our quick actions. Now, like I say, there's only one being set up correctly. But if we click on it, it takes us straight over to the post section. So you can see how easy it is to set all this up. Go back to our dashboard. Scroll down, there's our help section, so we can open any of these up, and there's our help on how to actually get started using that function. And if we've got a problem, we can just go and fill our form in and have that sent over to the support network very, very easily. Okay, so now that we've seen our custom dashboard, let's see how we can address the whole nice custom login page. It's very easy. Again, we're going to be using Ultimate Dashboard Pro. Choose Ultimate Dashboard, and we're going to come into the login customizer. And you see, once we open that up, now we have a bunch of options down on the left-hand side. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm just going to quickly show you what I've done. It is insanely simple. There's no complex rocket science here. You can choose your layout, so you can see we can set to left or right or centered. Up to you how you want to control it. I personally like the left-hand layout. You can then come into what logo you want to use, upload the logo, where you want that to go to. You can see we can use this little shortcut, so when someone clicks on it, copy that, pop that inside there. You can see that will send that logo to take us back over to the home page. And you can see we can set the title for this. We can set what we want inside there. There we go. Now this is being powered by Rocking Horse Poop. Come back out of here. Your background, you can see I just set a background image up, but you can just as easily have a color inside here if you don't want to use a background image. If you do, you can apply overlays, all kind of good things. Then you can just customize your login form with the width and so on. So we may want to have this a little wider, a little smaller, so we don't take up quite so much room. It's up to you how you want to do it. Come back out, again, input fields, we can customize the color and all the aspects of that, including the focus option, so we can set a focus color if we want to. Your labels, just customize the size, text color, your login button, your footer, and if you want to apply custom CSS, you can do that specifically just to your login page. Really is incredibly simple. Then hit publish and you've got a customized login page. You've already created two totally unique layouts that are much more enticing and inviting to your end user. But what else can we do? Well, let's say we don't want our users to see every single thing inside the dashboard, all these options on the left-hand side. Well, we can come into Ultimate Dashboard, come into the option for the admin menu editor, open that up, and you see this now shows us all of the items inside our admin menu, including any sub items. So for example, we've got Ultimate Dashboard. If we come down to that and open this up, this will show you all of the sub menus. So you can choose what sub menus you do and don't want people to see. So let's say you've finished customizing everything and you no longer want to see the Ultimate Dashboard. Well, you can easily come in here and you can choose the option to hide it. And that will hide it from the administrator. But the editor, author, contributor, and subscriber will have different options. And you can even break this down to just simple users. So if you've got specific users you want to customize this for, you may have more than one admin, but you may have different levels of admin that you don't want to give access to the customization options, where you could set that up on a user basis as well. Now, obviously, I don't want to hide the Ultimate Dashboard for me, otherwise I can't make any changes. But let's say we don't want people to be able to see ACF. Well, we can hide it. We don't want them to get access to the settings, to tools. We can come into the users, for example, and we send the submenu, and we don't want them to add a new user or see all users. We only want to see their own profile. Pretty cool, we can do that. Don't want to give them access to snippets? No problem at all. Remove appearance? It's gone. Help and tutorials, like I said at the beginning, let's remove it. Now we've got everything set up the way we want, and now we'll save changes. And you see now I've got a much more streamlined layout inside my dashboard. And I can just Now, like I said at the top of the video, there are other tools available that allow you to do similar things to what I've just demonstrated. They may not all work with bricks, but there are ones that work with Gutenberg and also with Elementor, and some even with Beaver Builder if you use that. First on the list is WP Admin Cleaner. Now, this is a paid plugin, but it does give you plenty of functionality. And if you're working with clients, you can offset any costs for things like this with the actual client payment itself. And it's talking like $59. And currently, there's a 50% off with a Black Friday deal of, well, it'll take you down to about $30. And even if you want a lifetime deal, you can grab that as well. And again, the 50% off is there. I'm not affiliated with these in any way, shape, or form, but I will be checking this out for myself to see how this stacks up compared to Ultimate Dashboard Pro. But what I like about this is that you can use just native Gutenberg templates. So you don't need to have something like, Bricks installed or Elementor installed. You can use the native functionality, and that is attractive for me. I would love to see that inside Ultimate Dashboard Pro. So that would be cool if we could start to work with the Gutenberg templates. But this gives you all the same kind of functionality, so you can show and hide various different sections and navigation options and those kinds of things and create your custom dashboards. A free option is White Label CMS. Now, this is a very powerful and free tool, so you can do a lot of what I've already covered in this video. You can't work with Bricks or Gutenberg, unfortunately, but you can work with Elementor Pro and also Beaver Builder. So if you use either of those builders, you can create your custom sort of admin sections the way I've shown you. And you can show and hide various different components, customize the login, and so much more. I would recommend checking this out if you're looking for a free alternative. Set it up on a test environment, try it out and see what you can do with it. It's pretty cool. But you can see without too much effort, you can create a great looking dashboard, tons of functionality built into it, totally customized, and give your users a much nicer experience when they log into that dashboard. I think it's a pretty cool way of working. But as always, if you've got different tools, if you've got different ways of creating something like this, let me know in the comment section down below, because I'd love to hear from you guys. As always, all applicable links are in the description. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.